Welcome back. Last time, you were all kind of gathered in your weird ways, whether that being kidnapped or hopping along or going to actually investigate disturbances caused by the little robots that inhabit the wizard tower.
They tried to put me in an oven. Oh,
They tried to put you in
They
the fireplace.
did put you in the fireplace. They succeeded.
They tried to dispose of you. You've returned to the wizard tower. There is still a cat.
Oh boy, is the cat awake?
she is passed out.
I walk over to the cat. I'm gonna nudge it with my foot. Get up.
Hey, Celsus.
Hello. You have to leave.
She looks very crestfallen. Okay.
Are you not going to take your pillow? All right. Good. Celsus waves to all of the little bots. Goodbye. I'm so glad that she did not ask questions. Did the cat just completely leave?
You just hear crestfallen walking down the street.
Oh. Well, that was simple. If I knew it would have been so easy to get rid of it, I would have done that sooner.
So, Reine, you were there. Where are you going?
In her sad state from not having a home again. She'd probably just go back to her alley.
Oh, right.
Probably, if there's like a fish market, she'd probably hole up in an alley near there.
You return to your alley. It's dark, wet because of the previous night's, gentle rain that came through. You see a couple rats scurry along as you come back in with your ginormous pillow that fills up the entire alleyway.
I imagine she'd probably have some kind of shelter set up with like sticks and like a blanket or something.
Yeah, there's you've created a thin little hut out of sticks and broken boards from crates, and then this barely functional blanket is there.
She's probably gonna stash the pillow which probably takes up the whole hut and be like,
Oh, it fills the entire alley, width-wise.
I need this smaller.
You can shrink it.
She shrinks it down just big enough to fit in the hut.
Alright, you shrink it down. It is very tightly. You're worried that your shelter's going to collapse.
Oh no. She's probably gonna head towards, she even smart enough to know what to do with these gems.
She is, what, 12? You have no idea what to do with them.
Clyde, the pillar curls up.
So Mikey's character came out of the tower, yes? Alongside Celsus, and the two of them had walked back to the guild, and then Celsus came back to the tower? That's the order of events, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
They left the tower a night past Celsus came back, yes.
Okay, because I remember the last thing I was doing is I was going to follow them along the rooftops towards the guild. So can I, not knowing it's going towards the guild, rather, more so, I just want to, from a distance, can I get a good once-over of Mikey's character?
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
I'm just looking for any, I don't know, symbols of interest, magical artifacts. I don't know, this guy seemed a little odd.
I've got the magic blood gaze greatsword from the tower on my back. I'm wearing the holy symbol of Paylor on my... There's a holy symbol around my neck, and it's also emblazoned on my shield. I'm wearing a set of relatively battered-looking chainmail. Not broken, but it's clear that I haven't bought a new set in 2 years. And I haven't been the best at maintaining it.
So an experienced but kind of apathetic fighter is the feel I'm getting.
Experienced, but not, wealthy.
Okay. Yeah, so Howlite's just going to try and follow along on the rooftops, try and watch this dude, and just sort of see where he goes.
Can you give me a survival roll just to make sure you can track him through the busy streets?
Sure.
Yeah. It's pretty easy. You almost lose him a couple times, but the giant fucking sun on his shield lets you kind of follow him and find him pretty easily.
Provided I'm not in the middle of the church district.
True.
where there might be other paladins of Paylor to get lashed onto.
Mikey, I'm assuming you're just like at the guild and then you like go to temple at some point.
I'm at the guild looking to see if there's any work I can pick up. See if Celsus is around. Probably isn't.
There's a couple small quests. Hunt down some wolves.
Not entirely sure that person is sane, because who sent a collect barrel quest to the Adventurers Guild when you could just go buy barrels? So something's going on there, and I'm not sure I want to be involved in it, because I'm not sure it's legal. So I'll just head to the temple at some point.
While I'm going along these rooftops and following him, Howlite's just gonna kind of like dip around the eave of one of the tops of like the buildings, right? Kind of crouch down, pull something out of their pouch, and like a small little vial, like a reddish tinge of liquid in it, and just sort of pop the cap and take a swig.
You feel dodgier.
Yep. And then I'm just gonna kind of dart back out, almost like there's just a soft wind kind of kicking off around them, and then I'll just continue to follow Mikey's character towards said temple.
Alright. You definitely notice as you're like approaching this district that the buildings, one, get built bigger and the space between them also gets bigger. But you drank your mutagen, so it does not really affect you. It wouldn't affect you normally because of how high of a dex you have. But you notice that things get... Like, the city itself normally is, like, there's a little bit of, like, a dinge to everything. But when you hit the temple district, it gets very clean and bright and warm comparatively. Like, you can tell like, each temple has its own thing. Paylor's is, like, there's this giant stained glass, like, window on the front of it with just, like, a giant sun. And, like, you can see, the Everlight's temple with, like, gold detailing along all of the columns on the building. And a, like, angelic figure at the top that seems to be made of gold. You doubt it's probably made of full, like, complete gold. Like, they're not that stupid. And then you see, like, Bahamut's temple, which has, like, the big silver dragon on, like, the door. And Melora's temple, which is... It's a smaller temple, but it's surrounded in trees and plants. A darker temple, again smaller, but there's also, like, a cemetery at the back. And you see, like, a couple people come in and out in, like, traditional Raven Queen attire. They're very gray and, like, dark blue. And then there's the Moonweaver temple, which is very, like, light blue and silver, and it's the tallest of them, of the temples that you've seen, more of a vertical rather than a, like, open space horizontal temple. That one you cannot jump onto the roof of without climbing. Fun fact.
As they're kind of coming up, they just kind of muse to themselves in their head about how interesting this is to see all these different faiths sort of coexisting at once. It's not something they've really ever seen before, so they definitely just sort of take a moment to just really take in the whole area, just kind of see what's around, see the different types of people coming in and out of it, just really transfixed by the whole thing.
As you're running across these roofs, you hear a voice in the back of your head, and you recognize this is a magically transmitted message. You get this small little voice of, "Could you please get off of my roof?"
They kind of tilt their head, they look down at the rooftop they're standing off, and then they just sort of like peer off the edge looking for anyone that's just sort of looking up.
You see there's like this central, like, large fountain, and you see like a very ornately decorated paladin or cleric, one of the two, but you can tell by the, like, large silver dragon ornament on their, like, breastplate that they are a follower of Bahamut, just kind of looking up at you. They're a human, kind of short, cut back hair, with a scar, like, that goes right along their jawline. And they're just kind of looking up at you
Do I know anything about Bahamut?
Give me a religion roll.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, you know a pretty good amount about a lot of the pantheon here. Bahamut's followers are typically very prideful and like devout and power. Like we strive for goodness and power, and they're very the lawful good, the lawful goodest. They are frequently enlisted to help with maintaining the city. You don't know how much that happens in this city, but in other cities you've seen the silver dragon alongside the like knights of the crown in other countries.
Is they're just going to like gently reach up to their hat, like gently incline it as like a signal of acknowledgement towards this individual in the center, and then just very gently hop off the roof and like land down in a pile of their cloak and stand back up.
The person at the fountain watch like their eyes follow you down, and as you touch down they just return to the book that's in their hands.
Howlite then at this moment realizes, oh shoot, I lost track of the dude I was following.
Nice.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go run around and try and look for Mikey's character again.
Sure, give me a perception check, unless you just want to go straight to the Paylor temple.
Would I know enough to just know that he's gonna be in the Paylor temple because of the Paylor
The
symbol?
Sun Paladin going to the Sun Temple, pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
I wonder if the iconography matches.
like the Paylor Temple is ostentatiously like there's a big stained glass window, and then on the door it's like a two-sided door that seems to be like overlaid with like brass or bronze, and on that is an inlay of like on each half of the door is half of a sun.
Okay, I figure that he's probably there, so I start to like head in that direction, but before I fully commit to it, can I take one last glance around and look and see if any of these faiths, these religions, if I know of any of them to be sort of in tune with what one would say is like an air elemental type of a deity?
Okay. It will probably most align with one of two deities, one being the Everlight or the Moonweaver. Kind of on opposite halves, one being more moon dark, kind of that kind of thing, and one being much more sunlight and like stars and hope.
I'm gonna like mentally flip a coin. Everlight it is. Alright. Yeah, they're just gonna stop. They're just gonna be like, I know where the paladin went. He's in the paladin place. But that's not really what I'm here for. And they're gonna start heading towards the temple of Erinner's temple then.
She's just kind of the goddess that kind of dwells over like atonement and compassion, light, life, you know, etc. And there's some irony to it for me. Anyway, you come up to this temple. It's much more open than the other ones. They don't have any actually like glass windows. It's kind of all open air, and like where the altar would be, there is a tall statue of like a woman with like wings for arms spread out to like full wingspan, and it's like 8 or so feet, and the woman is like 9 or so feet tall. And at the base of that, there is a small pool of like running water. And you see a few people inside. You see like the caretakers of the temple. There's some like flowers. There's like lilies along the side that they're watering. And you see like if you look up, there's like a set of like an assortment of like bells strung along the ceiling. Where you imagine like, and you like the ropes come down along the side, and you imagine there's like a person for each bell at like the services.
They're just gonna step inside and just sort of take a like deep breath in and out, appreciating the very open air space and sort of like a soft expression. It's not really a smile. It's more like it's not a frown, and that's the important part. I just sort of approach, like, I don't know, more towards the altar, more towards the center of the temple, and just start looking around, seeing if they can really spot anything of interest, I suppose?
Sure. Can you give me like just a perception check?
Okay. That's pretty good for Howlite.
That's pretty good. You notice as like you step into like the center of the temple, like near the statue, where there's like a couple people, like one's praying and one's kind of just sitting against the wall of the like pool of water. You notice this like ringing sound, like there's a constant vibration of like the bell directly above the statue, and something else that you can't quite place.
They look up kind of transfixed for a moment at the bell. Is it coming from the bell?
It's coming from somewhere towards the center. You didn't notice it when you walked in, but as you get closer, you notice it.
I'm gonna keep walking. Just sort of trying to discern what that sound is.
As you're kind of walking like around this pool of water, one of the like attendants notices you and kind of looks up and like waves to get your attention. You transfixed.
No, it's just the bells aren't ringing, but I swear I hear one ringing anyway. Is there another bell higher up?
No, that's just the statue.
Oh?
It's something that has just been happening since we've really regained a following here. It's quite calming. Her light kind of just emanates from it.
They just kind of like, it's like a statue in the center of like this fountain, right? Or like
Yeah.
pool? Okay.
Yeah.
They're just gonna turn and look towards the statue in the center and just like stare into it for a second and just kind of contemplate.
The attendant kind of watches you. Her face kind of, she like tilts her head and smiles before she like gets thwacked by the other attendant, and they move on to one of the farther back rooms in the temple to continue watering the plants.
I think they're just gonna spend a moment in here and just sort of reflect on what they're doing, and then I'm liking this.
I can cut to Mikey at the Paylor temple.
Mm-hmm.
As always, kind of an ostentatious temple.
Yeah.
You don't quite understand why a lot of the other followers of Paylor are like this large and in-your-face temple. It doesn't bother you all that much anymore.
No.
And you kind of walk in, you recognize that this temple, and like one of the people who are just like lighting candles kind of waves and like nods to you as they like progress. And you see a small family of elves. You can't tell if they're wood elves or high elves, but they're all kind of gathered in one of the like pews of the temple towards the front. There's two like younger kids that are like squirming in their seats because it seems like they've had to sit here for a little bit while their parents are praying or like offering something up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them spots you as you walk in, and like their eyes go wide, like, cause like you're a paladin in like full armor, and like they like poke their like one of them's like a young boy who spotted you, and he like elbows your slightly older sister, and she turns around and her eyes go wide, and like they both kind of duck, so like only the like top halves of their faces are over the back of the pew. And they just watch you. You paladin of Paylor with this gigantic, probably cursed sword on your back.
So yeah, I probably nodded back to the guy who nodded at me while he was lighting candles, because I like to make sure I know all the people working around here, working in the temple.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you want a name for this guy? Does anyone else want to name this man?
I want to.
What about his first name is Boris?
My last
Okay.
name idea was Sagittarius.
Boris
Boris
Sagittarius.
Edges. That's a fun name.
So I nodded to Boris, and
there's these two little kids watching you. They can't be older than like they're
10.
elves though.
They are elves. I'll just kind of wave at them and move on to where I'm gonna go pray.
Valid. The kids are they duck back under it, but you can hear like the church is echoey enough that like you can hear like the soft giggles, and then like the soft like scolding from their parents.
Without any job or anything, is probably gonna check up on Celsus since he just technically got the tower.
Fair enough. Are you
See
going
if
to the
that-
tower?
Since I don't know where else Celsus would be.
Fair enough.
All right, let's see. Where am I heading exactly? Is there a building?
You're going back to your organization, right?
Yeah.
You're going back to the Equinox Reserve. It's like having a library in every city, kind of.
Yep.
A library that's run by wizards.
Correct.
A fairly large building, kind of like imagine how big a bank is, that kind of size, but it's like a library. It's got like these long purple flags, like banners on the front, kind of denoting that it is a like neutral party within the city.
Mm-hmm.
You've been here like a million times.
Yeah.
When you go in, it's just lines and lines of like bookshelves, and in the like front there's this like half circle desk, and this poor gnome sits at this desk. This desk definitely made for human-sized humanoids. She's actually standing on the desk, kind of looking down at these documents that she has, one hand on her hip, and just kind of like adjusting her glasses, her big like circular bubble glasses. Please name this character.
What about Agnes?
Agnes? What's her last name?
Lillian.
Agnes Lillian. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Agnes with her like orange, almost too dark to be orange, like brown hair kind of pulled back into like it looks like it was braided and then pulled back and twisted into a bun. And her ears like stick out way too far for what you'd normally think of a gnome. But they hold her glasses quite nicely, and she has that like librarian chain connecting her glasses so they don't fall off.
Yeah.
And she's in the same kind of similar purple attire, though she's in a much less robe format and much more of a practical like pants and like a nice shirt
Yeah.
kind of thing. And she looks up and she's just like, "Hello, welcome back."
Hello, Agnes.
Hi, Celsus. What can I do for you?
I have. Oh, I'm sure the higher ups are not going to be exactly pleased, but I did stop damage by doing this, and I'm going to present the deed to that tower.
Oh my. That's quite something you got there.
My logic was simply there are higher places on the tower. There were things attacking us. By doing this, I have caused less damage to those.
Fair enough, fair enough. And she like pulls out a quill and like yoinks a piece of parchment from like this big stack that she's got. Okay, so I'll have to make an appointment with the curator.
Mm-hmm.
He may be busy a little bit. Will you be able to come back later?
Likely, yes.
We can transfer this all over. I'm assuming you don't want this tower, and if the original owner comes back, you don't want to deal with that, right?
Not particularly. Plus, I'm sure that someone of a higher rank would have more use of a tower.
Understood. I will make a note of that. Alright, so it looks like Curator Vaughn will be available like mid-afternoon, if that's possible. I don't assume you have anything else to do today.
I do not.
Alright, well if you come back around like mid-afternoon, I will let him know that you are coming.
All right.
And she'll take the deed and like pin together this like note and like this piece of parchment and the deed and like go down these little steps that she's gotten and then like heave open this desk drawer at the bottom and pull out a little basket and set the deed and stuff in the basket. It's really quite phenomenal how she does all this without like assistance.
Yeah.
I like her.
What time is it right now?
It's like mid-morning, like I would say 10.
All right.
They don't have the same clock system, and I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
it works. So
That
I was
makes
like,
sense.
I wanted to say like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but like that's not how it works.
That's kind of what I got.
Cool.
All right. Well, I will see you back here then.
You like hear her like struggling to push the drawer back in, and then like suddenly just an oh, as like it just suddenly goes all in.
Celsus considers offering help, but doesn't actually consider it. More considers like, I could do that. I'm not going to, but I could.
Celsus in turn does nothing.
He considers considering it.
Richard,
Oh no.
I'm saying you're coming in on a boat.
You monster boats.
Man, if I knew that, I would have gone towards the sea.
I was really hoping you were gonna go towards the sea, but was somebody else going towards the sea?
I
Tali?
was by the fish market. I don't know if that's by the
You're
sea.
by the fish market.
The fish market is definitely by the sea.
Yes, I was going to continue to just sort of drift, because after finding this area, like, I know it's a place I can come back to. I'm more so thinking it's a mid-afternoon, they're gonna look for something to eat.
Food is
I mean, there's a
very
fish
good.
market,
Fair point. Does
and
Howlite
along
like
the sea, there's a bunch of taverns.
Ooh, that's a fair point. I like to think that they haven't been by a coastal city ever, so that's on their list of things to check out. So sure.
Hal goes on a pub crawl.
Time to try all the fish dish.
Oh gosh, I have a dumb question because I don't know anything yet. What all is known about this town? Safe?
Safe. Things have been very tense lately because of political decisions by the crown prince in Caldaro. Priam used to have a royal family, but they kind of have married off their princess to the prince of Caldaro and kind of are in the process of merging. And some people aren't very happy about that.
Hmm.
It's a very, like, kind of bustling city. Lots of taverns and, like, sailors. And it's a very sailor-heavy town with very, like... I would not call this a family-friendly town.
Depends on who you're asking.
Depends
Dwarves
on
might
what
disagree.
kind of family. Yeah, it's that kind of town.
Priam is marrying off the princess to Caldaro.
Caldaro, and they're like, you know, Caldaro has basically threatened them into marrying her off so they can, like, become a, like, larger country.
Mm.
I'm
there are-
probably one of those people that's not super happy about Caldaro. Because I
Yeah.
imagine that's the country I'm originally from,
Yep.
and their prince, now king, is not too happy with keeping rabble-rousers around.
The new king is named Reeve Keldon, who is being married off to a woman named Merwin. And Reeve has 3 siblings, a set of twin sisters named Merald and Mauve, and his younger brother named Cassius. You're coming from Corrado. It's a transport boat. And you come into the dock, and it's like approaching like high noon as you dock in, and everyone's kind of ushered off the boat because these sailors don't have time for you fucking rabble.
Yeah, especially not this 2-foot tall motherfucker.
Especially you, 2-foot tall motherfucker.
You actually 2 foot tall?
2 foot 5 inches.
Oh my god.
He is a 2-foot tall, blue scaled dragonborn in fancy clothes. Looks like he could be a nobleman or an entertainer or both.
What are you doing now that you are off this ship?
First thing he's gonna do is look around and try to find somebody that looks like they live here.
They're going just like right off the docks into like those taverns that are immediately
Yeah,
cool. Can you give me just a straight D20?
gladly.
Howlite, you get a pull on your jacket or
God
your cloak.
fucking damn it.
If it was under 10, it was gonna be you. If it was over 10, it was gonna be some random NPC.
I know, but he goes for the one person that clearly
Doesn't
doesn't
live
live
there.
here.
It was like an adventure.
Okay, alright. Yeah, so here, Richard, so looks like, I mean, human-ish if humans have blue skin and, like, inverted eyes colors with, like, the dark, sclera? Blue sort of wavy hair, and, they seem to be wearing a large, like, blue cloak covered in constellations, and sort of one of those circular rice hats. Anyway, you like, tug on their cloak, and they just turn around and, like, yes?
Yes, I could use a little help. A bit lost. New to this continent. Kind of pulls out a small little journal, flips through. Yes, I'm new to this continent. Do you know if there's a wizard tower conglomerate?
Oh, yes, I've been to a wizard tower. There's one if you take that street right up north.
How many powerful wizards?
None?
God. Kind of like pinches the bridge of his snoot and just like, oh, for the love of Bahamut! Again?
Are you looking for someone in particular?
No, just wizards. Or anyone that can help with magical chicanery.
I know a moderately powerful wizard.
Well, that would be very useful. If you could introduce me.
I'm not good at judging power. He might be really strong and was just pretending to be not that strong.
That is the thing with wizards. They hide a lot of their tricks. Kind of like entertainers.
Howlite's just gonna kind of look around and just like pick a direction. If we walk that way, we might find him. It's a completely random direction.
Give me a D4.
Okay.
This party is a bunch of
Please
assholes.
point back into the sea. Please point back into the sea.
No, it's pointing. He's pointing north.
Okay.
Towards the wizard tower. Hey, Westley, can you roll me a D4?
Sure.
You're heading east.
Oh, so we're making an L, so we might actually cross paths.
Yeah, we might actually.
You might actually
paths.
cross paths.
Oh my god. I don't know, Richard. I just want to say, like, this person, it's not like they're, I don't think unintelligent is the word. It's more that they seem very distracted all the time. They're just kind of constantly, like, tilting their head and looking at buildings, or, like, holding their hand out and just feeling the breeze as it passes by.
They have ADHD.
They are wistful.
Okay, you say it that way. Lead on. Sorry, where are my manners? The name is Uryte. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Uryte. I am Howlite.
Alright. Opens the book again, writes it down.
Are you from around here?
Oh, no, not at all. Different continent. Been traveling many places. Can't remember them all.
I was wondering if you might be able to help me find someone.
You're looking for someone? Maybe I've run into them. Possible.
Maybe. You see, I don't know what their name is, nor really what they look like. But I'm looking for someone.
Okay, you have no physical descriptors? Anything? Clothing?
They'll feel like a cold breeze, but a good one.
Richard, you have no idea what this could mean.
Yeah. Right. I'll keep my Eyes out!
They nod. Shall we?
Yes, Lena.
Alright, they start to head you down towards the wizard tower.
I want everyone to roll me a straight d20.
Oh, fucking hell. Are we gonna just randomly encounter each other?
Adam, you said you had something you wanted to do?
Yeah. What she would do, like, as Reine wakes up, she kind of itch at the bandage on her hand, take it off, and look at the rune on the back of her hand for any identifiable change.
Nothing has changed.
Well, gotta go get something to eat. And she's going to head out the alley into the crowd and look for someone who looks particularly wealthy. Preferably douchey.
You find this, like, wealthy-looking merchant ordering people who are loading stuff off of a ship in the dockyard.
I would like to stealthily make my approach.
Can you make me a stealth check? You don't think he notices.
Does he have like a visible coin pouch?
Not that you can see.
Is he wearing anything that looks particularly valuable?
His entire outfit looks fairly valuable. It's mostly, like, colorful.
Like any like loose fitting jewelry or anything?
He's got some necklaces around his neck and a few rings, but nothing like bracelets or anything.
Okay. She's gonna bound up to him.
Stealthily?
No.
Okay. You come up to the merchant. He glances at you and then continues ordering these people around.
She gives him a smile like, "Hey, sir. Hello.
What do you want, kid?
Could you spare a coin?" She gives him the kitty cat eyes.
Make a persuasion check. Yeah, sure, kid. He hands you a copper.
Where does he take it from?
Out of his sleeve.
Thank you, sir. And she is going to like grab his hand and shake it vigorously. And in the process, I'd like her to try to sleight of hand one of the rings off.
Sure, roll me sleight of hand.
Oh, dice don't screw me now. Dice don't screw me now.
Oh.
You screwed me!
As you try to pull off one of the rings, your, like, claw catches his skin, and he, like, yanks his hand back, and the ring's within. He goes, "Ow, bitch!" And,
Sorry.
he's going to kick you. Okay, you take 4 damage.
Okay, I go. And she's going to scamper off. She's like, damn, these sharp claws.
Okay, from that just straight d20. So, Howlite and Uryte, you are walking along, and then it's blatantly obvious to you, like 10 feet ahead of you, you see this gigantic sun on the back of this guy's shield.
Holy light.
Howlite, you recognize this shield, as you spent like several hours this morning following him.
Oh yes, this man can take us to the wizard. Excuse me. They kind of call out to him.
Oh, you're from before. What's going on?
We're looking for Celsus.
I was about to go looking for him too.
Wonderful. This is someone I found. Uryte.
The little blue-scaled man kind of gives a small nod.
Hi. Also, I don't think I remember catching your name. What's yours?
Oh, did I not say it? I'm Howlite.
Howlite. Nice to meet you. I'm Erevan.
Erevan.
Anyway, you said you were looking for Celsus?
Yes. Or rather, he is.
She said that he's probably the strongest wizard, or at least a decent, powerful one.
He is the
I don't
only
know about
wizard in town,
strongest.
Howlite says with absolute certainty.
I don't know about strongest.
He's a wizard.
But then again, I don't know all that many wizards. So, the last place I know where he was, and where I think he still might be, we were gonna head up to I was gonna head up there just now. You wanna come with me? See if we can find him? Ask him whatever question you need to ask him.
Yes, that would be very good. Thank you.
Alright, come on.
Looking back behind her, make sure she's not being followed, not paying attention where she's going, she plows dead log into Howlite.
Howlite turns. I think that's the 3rd time today.
sorry.
You get ran into on a daily basis?
Wait,
No,
It's-
just today.
hey, it's you guys from the... It's you guys from the tower.
Yeah. Hey, kid. What's going on?
Just trying to get food.
Yeah.
Howlite, who had been eating like a half-eaten fish sandwich, just sort of like offers a little bit to Reine.
She gives you the biggest, most bean smile face ever.
Oh no, it's imprinting on you.
She accepts. And she eats it very hungrily. Celsus kind of threw me out and then left the tower, so I don't know.
Celsus left the tower.
I believe so, yeah?
Where'd he go?
No idea. He told me to go away.
Can I comedically walk by? Is that-
He walks by, going east, looking. No, he's like in a book or something.
Yes!
I'm in a book. You know what? I'll eat an apple too, because that's just funny.
It's just really good!
Could it be comedically that I've turned around to look at these people while I'm asking the question? He's just walking behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Celsus.
Celsus looks over. Hello.
You see the cat.
Howlite just like kind of taps Uryte's shoulder and just kind of points. Wizard.
You're a wizard!
I am, yes.
You don't look that strong.
In comparison to others, no. I would agree.
See, I like him. He actually knows his shit. Alright, Alright, do you know where there's a tower or a conclave or whatever they call it on this continent of wizards?
I do, yes. I happen to be part of one.
1 second. Pulls out book, starts taking some notes again.
Are you a kobold or a dragonborn?
I'm a dragonborn.
I'm going to take this dragonborn to where he seems to want to go.
Bye, new scaly friend.
Goodbye, looks at book. Reine. Right, lead on.
Alright, I'm gonna go back to the place.
So you three return to the temple district. Reine, who you've probably like kind of skirted around the edge of this district before. It's very, very pristine. It seems like a lot of people have put work into this like area.
She's a mixture of feeling in awe as well as heavily on edge.
Nobody seems to pay you any mind, honestly, as you walk through. You see this, like, human outside of this big, like, building with this silver dragon on it. And you see this person who's standing outside kind of narrow their eyes toward your group.
Is this the person I noticed before?
Yes, you're probably not looking, though.
No, I'm not. I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. It's the same person. They narrow their eyes and kind of just like shift their like posture to be a little less passive.
I
Is
see.
it someone I know from my time in the temple district?
You recognize this is like the head priest of the Bahamut temple.
I kind of just give her a nod.
She nods back, a questioning look on her face, kind of like a why would you be hanging around this like miscreant?
I looked away after I nodded, so I don't notice.
You do not notice.
Howlite, drifting around, looking at all the temples and pretty sights, eventually rests her gaze back on this individual.
They do the like I'm watching you finger.
Howlite tilts their head and very slightly smiles and does the same back to her, assuming it's a greeting in this area.
You thoroughly confused this high priest of Bahamut.
Howlite feels like she made a good first impression.
Come on. I'm gonna guide them towards the Church of Paylor, because that's where I know everyone.
Come here.
This is marvelous. This is magical. This is amazing. I love this. I love every minute of this.
I'm eternally dying over that one.
Howlite is wrecking every first impression they've ever
Oh,
made
yeah.
constantly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna relatively guide them towards the Church of Paylor.
Yeah, you Howlite, you saw this building before.
Mm.
You're still not quite sure why this building of like worship and faith would be built this like it has a sense of pride to it,
It's very.
and it's a building.
Is it very bright?
It's very bright, like yellow banners, the big stained glass window, the door. There are like yellow candles inside.
They kind of squint their eyes looking at it. Bright building.
It is a church of the sun.
Ah, is the sun in there?
No, our god's main iconography is the sun.
Ah.
So
That makes sense.
light and all it entails is very much the pride and joy of our church.
It's really shiny.
Well, thanks. And I'm gonna open the door for them.
She just kind of follows you in.
How light are you following in? Are you going to
Um,
continue to wander?
Howlite will kind of watch for a moment, as like Reine and Erevan holds the door. I'm sure is Erevan like holding the door for her still, just like waiting.
I kind of ushered in, and I said, "You coming?"
They just like shrug their shoulders and step up the staircase and follow.
Hold the door open if
Welcome
they
to
start
the Sun
coming in.
Church. It's very bright inside, but also very warm feeling and comforting. Not in the same way how light as how the Church of Sarenrae felt, but
Hmm.
a kind of like sitting out in the sunlight warmth.
Hmm.
And Erevan, you see kind of sweeping up around the like front entryway, Boris. And he like nods and just continues sweeping.
Hey, Boris.
Hi.
My character would probably know who I would go to ask to get this kid help.
Yeah, probably not necessarily the high priest, but you would probably go to one of the other priests that also resides in the church. Let's name a character, guys.
Regis.
Regis. All right. Regis who?
Kelly.
Regis Kelly. All right. Give me a race, guys.
Drow.
No.
Drow in
What
the
else?
Temple of Paylor. Poor Drow can't see.
No, it's not a drow.
What
if
else?
it's a blind drow?
I found the light.
We're going what else? We're going what else?
Alright, fine.
I found the light.
Regis Kelly, the Wood Elf, cleric of the Church of Paylor. He has like not necessarily an office, but kind of like a area that he can like take people and talk to them in.
He has his confessional area.
Yeah, and he greets you and he like bows and like,
Brother Regis.
Erevan, what can I do for you?
You remember the incidents yesterday with all the little robots
yes.
running around?
Thankfully, we were able to recover all of those people.
Yeah, well, this was one of the kids, and while checking around town, making sure everything was still back to normal, I actually found out that he's actually a homeless kid.
Ah, I see.
I was wondering if we could, she's a homeless kid? I was wondering if we could, help her out.
Yeah,
Maybe at least get her
absolutely.
some better clothes and some food.
We can absolutely do that. It's not a problem.
She kind of peeks out, just half hiding behind Erevan, yeah.
He like tilts his head and like waves and he's, hello.
Hi.
It's rare to see one of your kind around here. Must be hard being alone.
I get by. The blacksmith helps me every now and then. I help him with work.
Yes. Daedric. He is a good man. He comes to confess quite often.
Probably because he drinks so much.
Oh, that is why.
She kind of walks out with like her hands held in front of her chest. Like she has like the left one pressed to her chest, and the right hand has the bandage on it over it.
We can definitely get you some new clothes and feed you. It's no problem to us. It is part of our mission to help those in need.
Thank you.
Regis will like hold out a hand to Reine.
She reaches out her right hand.
Let's go get you fixed up. And he will take you actually into the basement of the church where they have like a kitchen and they keep like extra sets of clothes and blankets and such. And you are fed. You can get a few days worth of rations.
Does he react to the bandage on her hand at all?
Not particularly. He does, like, in the, like, small pack of stuff, he packs extra bandages. He is not one to pry, for he is not one to judge, and not the one to judge you for what you have done.
What was his name?
Regis. Regis Kelly.
Regis Kelly.
Mr.
His name is R. Kelly.
Yup.
Ha!
Yup, it is.
You're welcome.
You suck. I should. Anyway, Mr. Kelly.
Yes, child.
There's been something on my hand, and I don't know what it is, but I feel something from it, and I don't know what to do about it.
Would you like...
And she's going to take off the bandage and show him the rune.
I see. It's a simple tracking rune. Is there somebody looking for you?
It wasn't always there. I read a book, and my camp exploded, and everyone died, and I just feel like there's something evil in this, trying to crawl its way out.
It's definitely possible that it is attached to some sort of evil thing. It just seems to be tracking you, and there's not really much else this rune can do. Would you like it removed? We can do that. I can't guarantee that it'll work if it's some sort of otherworldly or semi-demi-godly. Godlike. Thank you.
Regis just gargles for a moment.
No, shut up.
Sorry.
Alright, if you want to try, you can.
I will need to get the head priest for this. May be a little bit above my pay grade. Time to name another character. Who's the head priest?
Sebastian.
Buck.
Zappelli.
Stop! Stop! What about the name Ballad?
Ballad? Sebastian Ballad?
Yeah.
I'm spelling it like the song.
Yeah.
Ballad.
Yeah.
He's a dwarf. So Regis comes back up with Reine after getting clothes and such. And, like, Erevan, he comes up to you and he's like, we are going to try to remove this thing that's, magically adhered itself to her skin.
That's
Just letting you know.
a thing that
Yeah.
I did not know that she had.
I read a book, my camp exploded, and then this was here.
Oh. Okay, yeah, you just take care of that.
Yeah, Sebastian and I will take care of it.
Okay.
And Reine, you are led into another room across, like, it's more of an office type, where you see a dwarf sitting at a desk. He is in, like, heavy runes with, like, a tabard that has a large golden embroidered sun on it. And he's got his, like, dark brown, almost black hair with, like, a few streaks of white kind of slicked back and pulled back into, like, a long, singular braid that is adorned with, like, golden beads. And he looks up, but him and Regis exchange a few words. And then he comes up to you and he's like, okay, so we're just going to ask you to sit down.
Okay.
Hold out your hand, and we will attempt to remove this.
She complies.
Cool. And now I have some rolls to do secretly.
Some shit's about to happen. Ooh.
You feel Sebastian has one hand on one shoulder, and Regis has a hand on your other shoulder. And as they, like, start chanting something, a, like, golden, like, orangey glow appears, like, around your hand. And a moment later, you feel, like, a cord that was, like, attached to your, like, lungs snap.
Ooh.
And you feel like you can breathe. And the rune fades from your hand.
You feeling alright, kid?
I feel lighter, like I can breathe easier.
Regis kind of looks over your hand.
Yeah, she flips her hand back and forth.
Seems it was just a tracking rune. Someone wanted to keep an eye on you.
Or whatever was in that book set a trap for, probably meant for someone else.
When the camp exploded, I was able to find the others, but my father wasn't there.
Could have been him trying to find you.
I hope not.
Excuse me.
Hmm?
Mr. Ballard, is it?
Yes.
I was wondering if you've heard of a place called Aletha.
Doesn't ring any bells to me.
Sounds pretty.
Okay. I'll look elsewhere. Thank you.
Of course, anytime.
I wonder if this place even exists.
Could be in an entirely different dimension for all we know.
Perhaps you go talk to the Ioun priests.
Yeah, they always seem
They
to know
are the knowledge ones.
Yeah, they always seem to
Oh.
know random information.
I'll try that.
Their head priest particularly is very proud of his knowledge.
Is this the
Excessive.
one that you said was to be avoided?
Unless you've got a question,
Well, I will momentarily
then he'll
not
take
avoid them.
full pleasure in answering it to extensive detail.
Okay. They stand up and they start heading out of the temple.
Alright, are you going to the Temple of Ioun?
Yes.
Did I describe Ioun? I don't think I
I
did.
don't think so.
You did
Cool.
not.
So you enter Ioun. It's a much more closed off temple. And when you enter, there's like one wall that just seems to be full of record books. And you see several, I don't want to call them scribes, but like several organizers just kind of rearranging books and taking down new books, replacing them with other books, kind of bustling about. There's a few people in there kind of praying, and on like the far wall where the altar is set up, you see a very large like stone carving like up on the top of the wall towards the peak of the roof of just a large open eye.
I guess they just sort of scan around and they're looking for. Sebastian said the head priest of Ioun, right?
Pretty much any of the priests pretty much
okay.
can probably help you.
The head priest just is a bitch unless you're asking him a question. Then he'll just be a snooty bitch answering your question.
Well, Howlite being Howlite is going to look for the head priest.
Yeah, he's very easy to find. Kind of, he's obviously a high elf, like bright platinum blonde hair, like really like piercing, like icy blue eyes, and like the most like sharp features you can imagine on a person. He looks like somebody with like just like touching them. He's on the older side, and you can tell that mostly because of his hands. They're a little more worn, and then like you can tell by like his knuckles and how his joints look. And he's just kind of sitting by the altar transcribing something.
Howlite's going to just simply approach and try and get his attention.
Yes.
Do you have time to answer a question?
If it's a question you're asking, then by all means.
I'm looking for a place called Aletha. Do you know of it?
Aletha, what's the origin of the word?
I'm not sure.
Well, we can probably find something. You said it was a city?
Yes.
Well, I've never heard of a city called Aletha. And he starts, like, flipping through papers. Geraldine? And one of a really begrudging young half-elf kind of walks up and he's, yeah. Can you find me anything on Aletha? On what? Aletha!
It's spelled like this. She holds up the piece of paper with it on it.
The half-elf, like, mouths thank you and then starts off. Do you have any other questions for me?
This one's a little more complicated. Do you know where one could turn themselves into air?
Magically or permanently?
Oh no, permanent.
Well, that's a little more complicated, but I do believe if you can find yourself a high archdruid, they may be able to shift you into some sort of gaseous form.
Maybe that druid did know. She just kind of mumbles.
That seems to be your best bet without finding a really pretentious, wizard.
I think I found one of those, but I don't know if he's able to do this.
Otherwise, there are temporary versions, like gaseous form.
I appreciate the offer, but I've tried that before.
You may have to visit the Wind Tribe of, the Aetherbound.
Do I know of these people by chance?
No, you haven't really heard of them.
Okay.
You've heard of the Terran who live near this city. They may be similar in that they are a group of druids. Those may be the only people who can help you.
Okay. Well, that sounds promising. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Has Geraldine come back yet with Aletha information, or is he still struggling?
Geraldine is standing, like, next to the desk waiting for Deodora to stop talking.
Okay, I step back so Deodora gets the signal of, like, no more questions.
Geraldine sets a single piece of paper down, and Deodora goes, "Really? This is all we have?" And Geraldine goes, "Mm-hmm."
Oh my god, wait, I'm gonna do something real dumb.
Oh?
Howlite's gonna try and give the positive affirmation to Geraldine, i.e. the only greeting she's learned here, i.e. she's gonna do the I see you thing to him.
Geraldine, like, squints.
Howlite smiles.
Backs away slowly.
They just kind of tilt their head confused, just shrug like, yeah, it's probably nothing.
I swear to God, if she teaches that to Reine.
Deodora picks up this, like, very old-looking piece of paper and just... The only place that we seem to have Aletha down for is a place very far north that used to be a dwarf mining city that was in a volcano. That was destroyed about 200 years ago.
She's writing all this down. Okay. I wonder why.
Volcanic eruption, of course.
Oh, I assumed. I meant I wonder why. The name Aletha was found in the Wizard Tower up north. I was wondering why. There.
He may have visited there. He has been there for several hundred years at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And he doesn't even, like, say goodbye. He just goes back to transcribing.
They start to walk out. They look for the other elf. Is he okay?
Geraldine?
Yeah.
She's tired.
Okay.
She seems to be Deodora's, like, direct assistant.
I see. Feel bad for her.
And Deodora seems to be one of those exasperatingly exhausting people.
I, out of character, feel bad for her. In character, Howlite's just like, what a helpful man. And is gonna head back, towards Erevan and, Reine, where they were.
So you two are going to the Equinox Reserve. One of you to talk to, Curator Vaughn.
Yep.
And one of you to find a powerful wizard.
Yeah.
You know, you're the first person in a while that asked that question.
I was going to assume, but then I did not see a tail.
Yeah. Also, like, if I was a kobold, wouldn't I just be killed on sight? Because those things are kind of, rah, rah, take the shiny, give to dragon.
Yes, you also seemed far too intelligent to be one.
Yeah, I mean, those buggers are pretty intelligent. They make good traps.
True.
Fuck those traps. But, yeah, no. Genetic mutation, pygmy, dragonborn.
Ah, I see.
Can't even do the breath thing if I wanted to, see, just...
How sad.
I know, right? What's the deal with those people?
They
Seem to know you.
I had to take a look at a wizard's tower, so I waited for any people to take a job for it. One of them did. The other two were kidnapped and found them there
They were kidnapped by
by
a
tiny
wizard.
robots, smaller than you.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, they were about half your size, and they were kidnapped by them. How they managed to do that, I can't imagine.
That is... I'm tiny.
Yes.
I like small, but whatever. Holy... And those two... the one looks like they're literally wind.
Yes, they do.
And the other one's a cat.
Correct.
Claws.
And stealth.
Hearing that, like, he kind of, like, pats himself down. Oh, okay, got all my stuff. That would have been...
Celsus is quickly gonna do it as well. Good.
So they're not your friends.
Not particularly. The cat imprinted on me. I think.
Don't think she's a person, so I don't know if that's how that works. I mean, she's half human, so...
True.
I don't know how tabaxi work, unfortunately.
Yes, but I wouldn't exactly call them friends. Acquaintances at most.
Acquaintances. Okay.
I worked well with the paladin, though. He was the one who actually took the job and wasn't there by circumstance.
Good to know. Surprised that, if they're adventurers, that they're staying here.
Yes, it is a little odd. Perhaps they're just resting, so to speak. I was here on assignment. I suppose I will find out where to go next, if anywhere.
Well, if, you need anyone to tag along, you know, keep you company and not dead.
The not dead part was a good add-on. Otherwise, I would have just ignored it.
My services are at least good.
So what can you do?
And a little bit of magic. Good with a sword, a bow. I also got a bit of a silver tongue. Kinda have to if, you know, you don't want to get shot when you go into a town.
True. You have gotten me to share far more than I normally would, so kudos.
I'm just traveling around looking for knowledge myself, wizards and whatnot.
I will consider it.
Yeah, thank you. This the place?
Yes, it is. Oh, I'm Celsus, by the way.
Uryte.
You arrive, and Agnes is, you don't see her immediately, but you definitely hear her, like, and then you see, like, this large stack of papers just, like, slowly come up these tiny stairs, and then there's Agnes underneath all of it.
Hello again, Agnes.
Welcome back. I'm assuming you're here to talk to Vaughn?
Yes, and this Dragonborn is in search of a powerful wizard for whatever reason.
Well, I can probably help with that. What kind of powerful wizard?
One first in curses and hexes.
Uh,
And also pulls out book again. Transmutation as well.
I see. All right. And she starts flipping through like a logbook. Well, our transmutation expert, who is also our curse expert, has been missing for 2 months.
Is that the wizard that we took the wizard tower from?
No.
No, okay.
That would have been hilarious.
She was sent out on mission to go try to figure out what's going on in the mire. And she hasn't reported in 2 months. She's currently presumed dead, though we assume that she's semi-okay. We did send out one party to go find her.
Well, that's good.
Have not heard anything since.
Well, where's this mire, if I can ask?
She will pull out a map and kind of just turn it around and show you. So we're here.
Mm-hmm.
over here. And the mire is all the way, roughly a 2-week journey.
Yeesh. At least that's a lead. Thank you.
And then she'll point to Celsus. They're coming with me.
All right.
She will hop down the stairs on her desk, and you will be led back up to the second level of the reserve and
Alright.
into this like long room that you know is just kind of a bunch of meeting rooms that are like soundproofed.
Yeah.
Then she will hand you the little basket that has the deed and like a couple other papers. Here you go. Put it
I
in there.
will take them.
In the room you just see the person that you know as Curator Vaughn. Vaughn just kind of gestures for you to sit across the table from them. They have like a half-shaved head and a very intricate orange tattoo that goes from like their temple down their neck, and you can't see it, but it continues past their robe. And from the few times that you've seen Curator Vaughn without a robe, you know that it goes down their arm.
Okay.
They're a halfling, like dark brown hair, brown eyes, kind of a simple look. The like most notable thing is the tattoo.
Yeah.
Come on, sit. What can I do for you?
I sit. Well, I was sent to check in on the Wizard's Tower here, and we found no one. The drones there were kidnapping people.
I see. This seems to be only something that would happen if there were orders. Ah,
There was also what seemed to be a teleportation circle on the second floor.
strange. Thank you for looking into this. It means a great lot to us.
We didn't go higher up into the tower. However, I take out and show the deed. Because they were fighting back, I decided the best way to stop damage from the upper floors was to become the technical owner of the tower so they would not attack.
Very logical. Then I'm assuming you do not want the tower.
I believe there is someone in greater need of it.
Yes, of course. We can always put one of the middling wizards who have too much ambition for themselves to continue working with us there.
So I'm here for that, and
Anything else strange?
something about a place called Aletha?
I'm not quite familiar with that.
No one seems to be.
I mean, we can have some research done, maybe in some of the older tomes, or we can also ask some of the other reserves if they have any knowledge on this city.
Oh yes, there was also a basement guarded by a mimic.
Is the basement a mimic, or is the mimic just
I
guarding?
believe it's possible there is or was an actual basement there, but it seemed like it was mostly mimic.
All right, we will take care of that. Vaughn looks considerably like distraught by the idea of like a mimic basement. Can you give me an insight check?
Sure.
Something is really concerning them about this. You can't
Okay.
place what. Thank you again, Celsus. I must go because now we have a mimic basement to deal with.
I nod.
Vaughn stands and leaves the room with the deed. And if there's not anything else, that's where we're gonna end.
I'm good.